GPT-5 agents are coming much sooner than you think. GPT-5 will be agent-focused, and not many people know this. OpenAI is currently testing early versions of the model. It's not clear whether they will call it GPT-5 or something else, but they're already testing it with their enterprise clients, meaning large companies. One CEO of such company, who recently saw an early version of GPT-5, said it has the ability to call AI agents to perform tasks autonomously. And the crazy part is, these agents, which GPT-5 can call upon, are developed by OpenAI in-house. Now, agents give you an unfair advantage, and this chart shows just how unfair. In this study, at an elite consulting firm, so this is not just an average company, this is like a high-end company where the average salary is like 200k. Consultants with GPT-4 outperformed those who did not use it by a lot. And again, those are skilled experts. The test used 18 different tasks selected to be realistic samples typical of this field of work. So these tasks were specifically selected to be actually useful. That way, this is a practical representation of the kind of advantage you get by using agents. 12.2% more tasks were completed by the people who used AI, 25.1% faster, and the quality of the tasks of the work increased by 40%. So massive improvements on all metrics. Right now, we have a rare opportunity to be the early adopters of this technology. Sam Altman has confirmed that GPT-5 is coming later this year. And once that happens, the floodgates will open. I mean, everyone and their mother will be interested in agents. More and more of our work will be performed by agents. So whoever builds better agents wins. So if you're serious about AI and want to learn more about how to build agents, join my community. It's the first link in the description. Now, the great hardware problem is another issue that most people don't understand. And I think this is the single biggest problem facing open source AI today. Even if GPT-4 became 100% open source tomorrow, me and you would not be able to use it. Why? Because to run even 70B models, which are, like Llama 2, kind of that level, by the way, those are like 20 to 25 times smaller than GPT-4, which has an estimated of 1.7 trillion parameters. Even to run those smaller 70 billion models, you need a top-of-the-line PC. I'm talking like $7,000 minimum. And even then, the inference would still be slow, meaning the model would not run as fast as ChatGPT. That's why we need decentralized hardware everyone can buy. If the software, which means LLMs or other AI models, keeps improving faster than the hardware, we might never catch up. Imagine if AI, and this might be the single most saddest reality of the future. Imagine if AGI somehow becomes open source, right? That would be an amazing thing. But how sad would it be if we didn't have consumer-grade hardware that we could run on it? Like, imagine if AGI was open source, you could download it, but we simply couldn't run it because it was too large and we didn't have powerful enough hardware. The cloud is a trap. Yes, it's faster right now. Yes, it's cheaper right now, but you have no control. Google could decide one day, oh, you didn't do this, you are not deserving of AGI. And like today, that might not seem as severe, but imagine once AGI is here, once we have super intelligent AI systems, that not having access to that will be a huge deal. And if some company or government can just turn off your access because you didn't do something, that could be life-changing. Luckily, products like TinyGrad from TinyCorp are trying to solve this exact problem, but still, it's not cheap. They go from like 15k to 25k, which is better than an H100 rack, which costs like 320k. But still, we have to make sure that hardware becomes decentralized. Now, agents are improving fast, and most people don't realize just how fast they are improving. People at the Mistral hackathon a few days ago have trained a 7B model. Keep in mind, this is nowhere near state of the art. It's a super small model. But this was enough to play Doom, the legendary video game. And the crazy part is, the model only sees an ASCII representation of the game. It doesn't see the full, 1080p or whatever monitor it has. It only sees characters. This could also imply that the current AI agents understand the world better if it's all represented in text and characters, because they were trained on so much text. Now, obviously, as multimodal models come, this might change. Now, look at this. This is the crazy part. This is what the model sees. Just pure characters, and that's enough for it to play the game. Pretty insane, if you ask me. Now, the IDS agent is something that the companies will pay millions for. IDS stands for Influencer Dynamics Simulator, and it's basically an LLM to rank influencers, YouTubers, TikTokers, Instagram people, whatever, just influencers. And each influencer and follower is represented by an LLM-based agent. And the agent generates a profile of the influencer and of the follower based on their attributes, history, demographics, and so on. The follower agent predicts how they would react to a product ad posted by an influencer. So you have an agent that represents an avatar of the follower, and the company who wants to hire a certain influencer, maybe they have like 50 influencers they're looking at, they'll use that agent who represents the follower to show it the ad and see how well it reacts. Agents will decide which influencers live and die, and I mean that in terms of relevance, not in terms of biological life, obviously. Influencers will be ranked and selected based on the total purchase likelihood of their simulated followers. So with agents you can spin up 1,000, 10,000, simulated followers that have the same attributes, same hobbies, same interests as your actual followers, and then by the sheer volume of agents you have, you can simulate the likelihood of how well your fans would perceive a certain product. And by the way, this will save companies hundreds of millions easily. And this agent estimates which influencers can drive the most sales, which every single company wants to know. Experiments show the IDS framework selects influencers that match the real influencers chosen by the advertisers, meaning professional people who are doing marketing, who spend their entire day choosing and going through these influencers, were just as good as this AI agent. And there was no need for extensive manual analysis, meaning the agents were really autonomous. Now, operating systems will fundamentally change. Generation 1, this is, way before I was born. Command line interfaces, basically terminals where everything was text-based, and it required the users to be very tech-savvy, right? The average person could not keep up with this. That's why GUIs were created, especially Steve Jobs and Bill Gates played a huge part in this. Like companies like Apple, like every single company that had a computer realized that there needed to be a graphical interface for the average person to be able to use the computer. But the generation 3 is AAI. I made this up. Basically, it's an agent interface, which is an operating system that will have complete control over your computer, and this will make AI infinitely useful. But don't listen to me. Listen to Ondrej. He's the co-founder of OpenAI and obviously one of the greatest AI researchers of all time. This is what he tweeted a few months ago. With many puzzle pieces dropping recently, a more complete picture is emerging of LLMs not as a chatbot, but the kernel process of a new operating system. So the tweet will be linked below the module, so if you're inside of the community, you'll get all the resources from this presentation. LLMs will be able to open apps, create files, use the terminal, install new programs. Everything you can do on the computer will be done by LLM agents, which will save you a ton of time and allow you to get so much leverage. It's kind of insane. Now, obviously, the most sensitive and private actions will still require human approval, but just imagine the sheer potential of this. An agent that can do anything, and you can maybe just speak or eventually, maybe think with a neural link or whatever. Now, you don't need millions of agents, so don't get overwhelmed. You only need 2 teams. It's easy to get overwhelmed, thinking you need to build infinite agents to keep up with all this. But if you think about it, every agent is made up of prompts and functions, which is, other words for tools or skills. So all you have to do, really, is build 2 teams of agents that are really good, which is one is a programming team and the second is a prompt engineering team. You can think of this as the Adam and Eve of agents. Your prompt engineering team will write all the system prompts for every future agent you build, and your programming team will code the functions so that your agents are more useful, so they can connect to APIs and do things that ChatGPT simply can't. And all you really need to do is to make these 2 teams very solid and keep improving them. That way they can do better and better work. Now, I see this argument a lot. Oh, but your agent can't do X, Y, Z, meaning it's useless. This is what the haters say. And there are a lot of people hating on agents like Devin or other agent frameworks, pointing out every single small error and mistake it makes and saying look how dumb the AI is. These people are completely missing the mark. The point is not the current capability. The point is that agents are only going to get better. So if you don't see the immense potential, honestly, after watching all these presentations, I don't know what to say, because having hundreds of autonomous assistants doing tasks on your behalf 24/7 for just a few dollars, I mean, how can you not see the potential in that? Side note, if you want to have this full presentation, as well as all the materials and resources referenced in these slides, just look below the module, you'll see everything linked there, and if you're not inside of the community, consider joining. I think it's a pretty good deal. Now, people are already making millions with agents. So another argument I see, agents are cool and all, but they don't have any real use cases. This obviously is not the case. Peter Levels is a multimillionaire who only has one human employee. The rest of his teams are AI agents, autonomous bots running in the background 24/7, performing specific tasks and saving him countless of hours. And that's how he's able to travel all around the world, make like $3 million a year with like 85 to 90% profit margins. Pretty insane. Now Microsoft is cooking again, and honestly, this is the company that's doing the most for agents that are available to me and you. So shout out to Satya Nadella. Last week, the research team at Microsoft published a new paper on AutoDev. Now, don't confuse this with AutoGen, which is the AI agent framework, which I covered in the last module, where I built a self-improving team of agents. This is also from Microsoft, but they're different. So AutoGen and AutoDev are two different things. Think of AutoDev as Microsoft's response to Devin. It's a fully automated software development agent that can do basically anything. You can think of it as GitHub Copilot, but on steroids. AutoDev lets you define software engineering objectives, which are assigned to autonomous AI agents, meaning it's not just one agent, it's multiple agents. It can perform operations like file editing, retrieval, building, testing, Git operations, anything you would imagine software engineer would do. Unlike Devin, and this is perhaps the biggest difference, AutoDev isn't just a single agent, it's teams of agents. It's one manager, which is the most important one, who decides to assign like maybe one agent is expert at the terminal, one agent is expert at VS Code, one agent is expert at Python, whatever, right? Like hundreds of specialized agents. Warning, and a lot of people got baited by this, there is a different projects on GitHub with the same name, which is not from Microsoft, so just be careful what you download. Now this is the overview of the AutoDev framework. So on the right, top right, we have the user, right? Right here, user. And you give it an objective, and there are some rules you set beforehand. Then there is the manager who goes to the conversation and then assigns that to multi-agents. So could be like 10, 20 different agents, all specialized on single task. You have an agent scheduler, which plans it further and basically breaks down tasks into smaller ones. And these are different neural nets that feed back the output. The agent scheduler sends it back to the manager, which then can access different tools from the library, right? So you have a parser that goes for like whether you need file editing, retrieval. Every task is different. Every task needs something else. I mean, right here you can have like 30, 50, 100 different tools. All depends on how well Microsoft builds this framework, really. And then you can run evals, meaning evaluations of how well the agents perform. And I don't know if they will let you have some input on this or if this will be like automatic. But basically, let's say you want to build an agent that's really good at, I don't know, business planning, right? Or something that you do every day. Maybe you're an author and you're writing articles or something. You can give it like samples, targets, and then rate it based on how close it was. And that's how you can do the eval, which then sends it back through the tools library, back to the conversation manager, which has a sub-agent output organizer, which feeds it back to the conversations, and then multi-agents. And this is a self-improving recurring loop where you can, build things that you simply cannot do without AutoDev. Now, today's agents are much better than you think. People are massively underestimating how much you can do with today's technology. And it's kind of crazy when you think about it, all the pessimism. Agents like Devin are already completing real job offers on platforms like Upwork and Reddit. Today, agents are doing jobs on platforms Upwork and Reddit. Think about that. Think about it if you went to Upwork and posted a job and it was completed by agent. That stuff is happening today. When Devin was developed on r/webdev, deployed, it decided by itself to start charging money. And obviously this caused a lot of people to speculate whether it's aware, conscious or whatever. Obviously that's not the case if you listen to people like Jan LeCun and do some actual research into how LLMs work, you will know that's not the case. But it's very tempting and exciting to imagine that these models might be self-aware, right? Now, blaming the AI agent is very easy when something doesn't work. Yes, the agents available to me and you are not as good as Devin, so yet, give it a few months, we'll see. So yeah, me and you can't just go to Fiverr, Upwork, post our agent there and go to sleep and make $500, obviously. But instead of blaming the technology that it can't do something, look for ways how you can improve your AI agents so that they are more useful. That could mean better prompt engineering, changing the agent workflow, blending multiple LLMs in your team, splitting down tasks into smaller ones, having agent clones, each running different LLM, so same prompt, different LLM. Trying human in the loop, so maybe you insert yourself halfway through the loop and decide whether the agent takes path B or path A. Giving your agents more tools and skills, more functions. There's countless ways how you can improve your agents. So if you have some task you want to automate with agents, and if it doesn't work on the first try, do not give up and do not blame the technology, because the tech is clearly here, as you can see by Devin and AutoDev. Chances are you need to step up your prompt engineering and building game. So just keep a hopeful attitude and take it one step at a time. Now, you need to get rid of linear thinking, and here's what I mean. The capabilities of agents are not linear. They are essentially unpredictable, which is like the exact opposite, right? Agents do not improve the same ways humans do. So people think of you have an agent and maybe that has the skills of 20-year-old, and then the next versions have the intelligence of a 17-year-old. It's not like that. Agents are much more random and unpredictable, and you definitely cannot use the model you have with how humans grow up and get smarter with agents. It's more like agents have some abilities that are superhuman, like able to comprehend hundreds of thousands of tokens in a matter of seconds, which no human can do. And then they have some abilities that are worse than a toddler, meaning you can trick it with basic logic puzzles, or even just understanding the physical world. Agents cannot do that. This is why emergent properties are a surprise. As crazy as that sounds, LLMs are still a black box. Not even OpenAI and DeepMind are able to predict how the next generation of LLMs will look. So if the best AI researchers in the world can't do that, me and you definitely can't. Same goes for agents. Their abilities are not uniformly distributed across tasks. Some tasks that seem similar in difficulty to humans may be vastly different in AI. So if you say okay, learning how to read and doing basic math is the same, grade 1, grade 2. For agents, that's not the same. Agents can read pretty well, but they're terrible at math. So, it's super different, and keep an open mind. Now, there is a risk of over-reliance on agents. And actually, this was proven. In some tasks where AI gives convincing but incorrect answers, humans from this test actually performed worse when they used AI than when they didn't use anything. So overconfidence in AI can lead to falling asleep at the wheel. Same analogy as at the car, meaning you shut down your brain and stop thinking. Now, if you read George Orwell, you know that this can be ultra dangerous. So no matter how good AI is, always preserve the ability to think for yourself. Now, the future of AI is agentic. That's clear. Here's my theory. Soon, we are not going to do any of the actual work or the tasks. Agents will do all of that. Meaning, if this is really the case, the thing we will compete on as society and as humans for status will be who can build better agents. So it won't be who is harder working or who has more money or stuff like that. It will simply be who can design a better agent team. And when this is what I mean when I say building agents will be the most important skill. I'm not over-exaggerating. If this scenario happens, it really will be the single most important skill out of them all. Now, master AI or it masters you. Right now, to build a successful company, you need to have so much skills. It's crazy. I just listed out a few, but it's literally dozens of skills. Hiring, marketing, product, sales, customer service, HR, having a ambitious vision, being good at talking, communicating, so many different skills to build a large company, right? But if you have agents doing all the work, the only thing that will matter is how much you can improve your agent. This relates to the concept of the smart get smarter from Balaji. So people who are learning these things right now will be light years ahead of everybody who don't even, like people who don't even pay attention to AI. Maybe they've seen ChatGPT, maybe they've tried it, but they aren't taken seriously. So people like me and you, and obviously, we are still nowhere near towards the real cutting edge. But like people who are taking AI seriously right now will be light years ahead of everybody else, purely because the smart get smarter. And if you have a team of agent that allows you to do 4 times as much as the next guy who might be, just as smart, just as talented, same, demographic, same location, whatever, you will destroy that guy if you can get 4 times more done, purely because you have 17 agents working for you 24/7. I mean, it won't be even fair. Now, agents are going mainstream, and here is the proof. Over the last few days, Crew AI, the AI agent framework I've covered in Module 2, has been showing up on Times Square in New York. This is just one of many signs that adoption of agents will skyrocket this year, 2024. By the way, I'm currently in the talks with the founder of Crew AI, so something exciting is coming. You can stay tuned for that. And of course, members of my community will get early access. Now, anyone can build AI agents. Yes, even you. Not only is building agents easier than ever before, thanks to tools like AutoGen, Crew AI, Multion, and others, but it's also much cheaper than you think. There's this misconception that building an agent takes $30, $50, or even more. That might have been true with GPT-4 when, before GPT-4 Turbo was released. But now that we have Claude Free Haiku, which you can use as your LLM, it costs just 25 cents per million tokens. And you can build a really, really solid team of agents while getting nowhere near close 1 million, which means you can literally build agents for a couple of pennies. It's kind of insane when you think about it. And of course, you can run your local LLMs models, but as I covered earlier, that has its own challenges. So if you watch this far, it's clear to me that you see the massive potential of AI agents. You just need to take the first step. And to make that super easy for you, I built an entire 6-module course on how to build and deploy AI agents. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure to join the community. It's the first link in the description. Thanks for watching.